Let us speak. Come on, come on.
I got homework.
Take your time.
When I got the invitation in the mail,
You in the camera. You in the camera screen.
I normally don't look at it, but for some reason I looked at it this time. It said that prayer still. And God had set it up so in a way that I can spend some time. My brother-in-law said, basically had said those same things. That I tell you what, regardless of how it looks and how it seems, one thing I know is that prayer still works. So I thought that the Lord was being funny, like he sometimes will do. I know my brother-in-law thought I didn't hear him because he get to talking and I'm going to get to talking with you. But I heard him and probably didn't act like it meant anything to me, but I heard him and I looked at the invitation and I threw it where it was going to go. Went back and it said, prayer still works. So I said, well, when I began to really look at it, it took me a while to come back to it. If I could hear my brother-in-law ringing in my ear, my prayer still works, and I'm rather tap-tatted. Well, is this what you're saying? Is this what you're telling me? If you ever had a conversation with me, you know that's how I do it. Is this what you're trying to say? Well, Pastor, is this what you're trying to tell? Well, Pastor, I'm trying to get an understanding. Is this what you're telling me? He said, well, I don't know about all that, but I can tell you that prayer still works. So when I looked at the invitation and I really looked at it, the first word that really stood out to me was the word still. The word still says, in spite of, still says yet, still says even in this, it says it still works. Y'all can take your seats and just go talk a minute. Okay, so I said, I looked up and I did just like this. I said, really, Lord? Are you kidding me? Anybody ever been there? Y'all don't want to tell the truth in here tonight. So I said, it still works. And that word still also says that if I can say something still works, then that means that I knew that it worked. Come on now. Come on now. Before this, I knew that it worked. In other words, if I can say something still works, I'm going to talk to you about. That means that I had an experience that it did work. Can I talk to somebody in here? I had an experience that it did work. Somewhere along the way, I knew that it did work. In order for me to say that it still works. Then I said, okay, well, that means that I had to have had a testimony. Where prayer worked. Then I began to think, well, I couldn't have had a testimony had I not went through the test. See, they say a test. But I serve a specific God that has a plan and a purpose for everything that he does. And so, Pastor, my test is not a test, but my test is the test designed just for me. So I said, in order for me to know that prayer still works, I had to have an experience that prayer did work, which gave me a testimony to the goodness of God, which meant that I went through a test. But the thing about it was that if it worked, I came out of the test. The Lord brought me through. And it just kills me how we doing that, because we say we came out. But Pastor, I've been in some things where I couldn't have came out. the test. I might think that I did something, God. I might think that I had some power. I might think that it was all about me. I might get puffed up. I might think I'm tight like that. But God has said, I'm not going to just let you come out the test. I got to bring you out the test. I like that. And then God began to talk to me. He says, you're too worried about the flesh when I'm trying to save the soul. I got some things I'm working out of you. I got some things I'm getting out of you. I got some things I'm taking you through to bring you through to get you to. Anybody want to talk to me? Come on, girl. What is it? If first it works. Anybody ever been at the if? Can I just talk for a few minutes? Anybody ever been if? Because the word if means that there's got to be a reaction. Is that right? If first it works, God. I got some things I've been praying about for a long time, and I'm still dealing with it. Anybody been there but me? Anybody in there? I got some things that I've been asking you about for a long time, and I'm still asking the same questions. I got some things that I asked you to do, God, and it doesn't seem like you're doing it. It doesn't seem like you're moving. It doesn't seem like you're changing. It doesn't seem like you're delivering. Anybody but me been there with the Lord? Getting me here. I just didn't want to really admit it. I was riding in the wind on today, and I noticed that when we were riding with the wind, the bike didn't work as hard. It was a smoother ride. We were flowing with the wind.
Yeah. Come on now.
Because the wind was behind me. The wind was accelerating the bike. And that was a smooth ride. Brother-in-law did something and made a U-turn and went the other way. And now we're riding against the wind. I know this when he changed them gears, I felt it a little bit when we were riding against the wind. Felt it a little bit. I had to hold on a little high. Had to put my helmet down. I had it up looking cute at first, but when we began to ride against the wind was coming in my helmet and it was producing an effect. My ears started to get cold and my ears started to ring and my nose started to get cold and it was hard to breathe when I was riding. I'm going somewhere when I was riding against the wind. So I was holding on and my brother-in-law did a little something. We did one of these things and we went alongside the truck and the truck was hovering in the wind. It seemed like the bike kept going this way and I'm looking. He looked like he was all right, but I was looking because the wind was moving. So I said, brother-in-law, when you ride against the wind, it wasn't hard to ride at. He didn't know what I was doing. He didn't mind running back. You understand me, right? He says, yeah, this. Because when you ride against the wind, you got to figure out how to maneuver.